students with Harvard's only conservative student publication, the Harvard Salient, calling out the stigma they faced on campus after a luncheon in Washington on Wednesday. This coming right as the school said they had the right to distribute their publication in dorms after administrators made them stop in February. Harvard Salient board member and Job Creators Network CEO Alfredo Ortiz and Harvard Salient president Sarah Steele both spoke at the event, and they join us now. So, Sarah, tell us a little bit about what it's like to run the Salient, which is a conservative paper at Harvard, and what you've been facing from the administration.
First, thanks so much for having me this morning. I have good news and bad news to report about what's happening at Harvard. I guess I'll start with the bad. Over the course of 2024, we started to hear from our school that we could not distribute to several dorms on campus, and we call them houses at Harvard. And essentially by the end of the year, after talking with professors in these dorms, we were banned from about a quarter of them. And that means several hundred students. Each house has at least several hundred. So we fought back. We escalated this to the highest levels of the administration. And we heard things from professors like, you know, you're a fire hazard, you're environmentally unfriendly. And all of this was pretextual for the real reason that we were being banned, which is the conservative content that we were delivering to students' doorsteps. Students would complain to their professors in the houses, and then we were banned. So very, very happy. As of this past week, we received news from the school that we have been heard by the highest levels of Harvard's administration, and really just making an all-American free speech argument about what it means to speak on campus, the power of the printed word, and the school will be taking steps this spring in order to increase the ability for student publications to directly reach students at their dorm rooms.
Yeah, shame on the administrators, shame on the students too. By the way, our country was started by revolutionaries who printed papers and spread the information in the news, and that's how it all started. It's just crazy, and using environment. If you're a fire hazard because you drop off a paper at people's dorms, it's just crazy. Let's talk to you now, Alfredo. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Rachel, always great to see you. And as you can imagine, you know, nothing is a greater threat to economic freedom than the lack of freedom of speech, which is exactly what these kids at the Harvard Salient are fighting for. And I couldn't be more proud to be standing side by side with these kids. They are brave, brave souls to be a conservative voice on the Harvard campus. But Rachel, you know what? If you don't go into the belly of the beast and fight for that freedom of speech, where does it go, right? Because these kids are our future. They're our future presidents, our CEOs, our CFOs, our doctors, our judges, right? And so defending that freedom of speech at Harvard is actually so important because it's representative of the liberal malaise that's hitting the entire higher education, system. And so, I really salute these kids, and we couldn't be more proud of what they're doing and the recent victory. But look, like I told Sarah, the battle's won, but the war still rages on.
It sure does. Harvard, by the way, was ranked last in terms of freedom of speech of all the schools. University of Chicago, where my daughter went to, was ranked very high. But I can tell you, she started a paper there, and she experienced a lot of discrimination and shaming and a lot of bad things that happened for conservatives. We heard a lot this year about Jewish students and how they were treated. We had members of Congress come in, and I'm glad that they did that. But for a long time, for decades, conservative students have been mistreated and discriminated against on campus, and it's time they also get the attention from Congress. I appreciate what you've done, Sarah, and also you, Alfredo, standing next to her, because this is a really important topic, and thanks for your courage for both of you. Great seeing you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.